Hello to the subscribers of Magic Reviews. I'd like to place a spoiler warning for a couple of reasons before in the main content of this video, because I'm doing a review of the Netflix original series 13 Reasons Why, and anybody that has seen the series or hasn't seen the series yet needs to be warned that I'm discussing some very difficult topics and that it is a very harrowing and traumatic show to watch. It brought out a lot of emotions in me, and it will bring out a lot of emotions in you, which the content of this video might also do. So if you have had suicidal feelings or anything like that, and you need somebody to talk to, this is not the review for you. I found it difficult viewing for myself to get through all 13 episodes. It only took me 3 days, but it had a deep emotional impact on me, and I really don't think that you should carry on to watch the review that I do in this video if you've ever experienced any of the feelings that are portrayed in this video and in the Netflix original series. I would brace yourself deeply before watching this. It was a shock to my system for it to be as detailed and graphic as it has been, especially the final episode. So I warn you, before you even watch this video or before you watch the series or the documentary that comes on after it, that it really might not be for you. Thank you. Goodbye. 13 Reasons Why is the story of 16/17-year-old Hannah Walker, as told predominantly in the TV show through the eyes of her friend and unrequited love, Clay Jensen. The first episode starts off with her describing how the first person who is responsible in her eyes for the destruction of her reputation, Justin, let it be spread around the school and made her look like she was easy, that he got to third base with her, when actually he only got to first base, which is a kiss. This actually destroyed the memory of her first kiss with any boy. We then move on in the tapes to her friends Jessica and Alex. Jessica and Alex start off being coffee shop buddies with Hannah at a place called Monet's. Unfortunately for Hannah, she starts to get increasingly shut out by Jessica and Alex forming a relationship. This further ends up isolating her around school because of what has initially happened with her reputation through Justin spreading around that he got to third base with her at the local park. It also doesn't help that Alex, who was her friend, is responsible for a list that gets spread around through the school, or somewhat partially responsible for a list that gets spread around the school that helps lead to Jessica feeling that she is responsible for her and Alex breaking up. She thinks that Hannah, who has already been given a reputation as being easy and down a slut, basically, she feels that she's been fooling around with her, and that's why Alex broke up with her, when the reason that Alex actually broke up with her is because Jessica apparently wouldn't have sex with him lists Alex as well. The list lists Jessica as having the worst bum, and well, it says ass, and Hannah having the best ass, which is damn intended to make Jessica jealous. Jessica ends up slapping Hannah in public because she feels that Hannah is fooling around with Alex. There's also another character who ends up printing a poem that is Hannah laying herself bare, talking about feeling like she's drowning with stones attached to her legs in a magazine that is his personal project that he prints around the school. This further isolates Hannah and makes her feel like that she has no friends other than Clay, who does actually feel like a friend but doesn't necessarily understand what's going on in Hannah's life until she's actually already taken her life and these tapes have been left. Throughout the TV show, Claire is befriended and helped by a guy called Tony, who also has listened to all the tapes along with all the people that are mentioned in the tapes, such as Jessica and Alex and Justin. Things only continue to get worse for Hannah after the incident with the poem, once they finish sophomore year and go on into the next year. From what I can recall of the episodes that I've watched, Hannah, unfortunately, at a party at Jessica's house, ends up witnessing another of her schoolmates, a boy called Bryce, sexually assaulting Jessica, who obviously by this point they aren't really friends anymore. There's also a point when another girl called Courtney, earlier on in the tapes, they shared a same-sex kiss, which was photographed by the boy who publishes for the school's official magazine. As the photographer of the official magazine, he's stalking her and he takes this photograph, so he is as much responsible as is Courtney for the ruining of Hannah's reputation during her sophomore year. Between Justin, Jessica, Alex, Courtney, the photographer, and Tim, the fact is that Clay feels that he feels responsible partially responsible through his actions for actually Hannah ended up taking her own life. It isn't until a later tape that she actually explains that the only reason why he's on the tapes and on a list that her mum ends up finding, which she obviously doesn't know that her mum finds this list, or that her mum ends up hearing via a flash drive, all the names of the people that are responsible for ending up taking her own life. But as I said, Hannah ends up somewhat witnessing the sexual assault of Jessica, who had been her friend, by another boy at the school. And this is where Justin's name comes into it again, because he doesn't actually do anything to stop his girlfriend from being raped, sexually assaulted, raped, whatever you want to call it, by this fellow sports person from the school. I think they play basketball together. So he doesn't actually do anything to stop this. Justin and all the other people have actually heard the tapes. I'm not sure if the person who committed the sexual assaults has heard the tapes or not, but I'm assuming that he may have done, or he doesn't actually at any point throughout the show take responsibility for what he did to Jessica, and Justin has tried to keep from Jessica what actually happened because she was passed out to some degree when this guy sexually assaulted her, but it has led to her drinking heavily, which may be contributing to her not remembering what actually happened for her to be able to say anything. But obviously by this point everything is blowing up because of the tapes and because of Clay actually becoming more and more vocal and falling apart more and more as he hears the tapes. As I said, there's also Sherry, who is a girl who gave Hannah a lift home from the party at Jessica's house where she saw Jessica get sexually assaulted by this other boy. They accidentally knock over a stop sign, a wooden posted stop sign, which later in the night ends up leading to the death of a very good friend of Clay's. Neither Sherry or Hannah actually come out to say at the time about them being responsible for the stop sign being down, and it's initially thought that Jeff, the friend of Claire, was drunk driving, and this is why the accident occurs at the place where the stop sign was down. It is because of Sherry's actions in driving away, and leaving Hannah at the point where the stop sign is down, which Hannah left trying to find a phone so that she could actually say something. It was Claire who was out walking around because of things that had happened in the bedroom where he and Hannah had been talking and were going to engage in the consensual activity. But Hannah had flashbacks to her previous experiences with boys at the school and the way that the boys at the school had damaged her reputation, and ended up not carrying things through with Claire. So Claire had been walking around and was the first person to reach the scene of the accident with Jeff, and was actually the person that reported the accident as being first on the scene. So obviously this contributed to Clay's mindset in regards to what happened. By this point we're understanding that Clay didn't actually do anything wrong, and that Hannah may have been reciprocating feelings towards him by now, considering what happened in the bedroom before the sexual assault of Jessica. We then get on to tape 12, which is the final tape 12/13, which is the final tape that was recorded by Hannah. This is the most harrowing of all the tapes. It's more harrowing than having heard that she was there during the sexual assault, that she was thrown under the bus by somebody she thought was a friend and further damaging her reputation and making it look like she was easy. There's also what happened when she went on a dollar date with this other guy, where he thought that he could touch her up in this diner because her reputation had become that she was easy to get with because of what Justin had said in the very first. What she said Justin had spread around during the very first tape. We now come back to the guy that had sexually assaulted Jessica, whose name is Bryce. Hannah, having had an argument about losing the deposits that she was supposed to put in the bank with her parents, finds herself at Bryce's house. Now, we already know from the previous episode what this Bryce is like, and that he without any interference from Justin, or no real interference from Justin, who was drunk and scared, that he's basically a rapist. He sexually assaults women, and doesn't, because his family is rich, he obviously doesn't feel that he would meet any consequences for this. So basically Bryce takes it upon himself to think that he can do whatever he wants to Hannah who basically ends up freezing while he sexually assaults her in the hot tub that they're in together. Everybody else has left the hot tub, so it's basically Bryce and Hannah on their own, and this is the point where she could have actually decided that she was going to take her own life. What she actually does at this point, which is what is on tape 13, which is the very last tape, which is why there's 13 episodes, is before she actually goes and does anything, she actually goes and sees the school counsellor, who is the very last person that is one of the reasons why she ultimately ends up doing what she does, which at this point her parents still don't know about these tapes or anything. This school counsellor is called Mr. Porter, and because it's not easy for a teenager to articulate being able to tell somebody what happened and give a name or anything like that, Mr. Porter, if you watch the Netflix original series, ends up having to say that the only other thing that Hannah can do, if she's not willing to give him all the details he needs, because it's difficult for a teenager to articulate being able to tell somebody all the information that they need, ends up saying that the only other thing that she can do is move on. Pretty much everybody, all 13 people, well, 12 people, because Clay didn't actually do anything wrong, but like 12, 13, all the people that are on, that she talks about on the tapes, all who have been talking to each other throughout the show, trying to say that Hannah lied and what she was saying on the tapes, etc., wasn't the truth. Ultimately, it was Mr. Porter, the last person that she spoke to on the day that she killed herself. And if you watch the show, please prepare yourself for what happens at the end of episode 13, because it is very graphic. I'm going to record a spoiler warning before this. It basically she actually takes her own life by running a bath after doing the last things that she felt she needed to do, including returning her uniform to the place that she was working with Claire. And then she goes home, changes into small clothes, runs the bath, doesn't stop the bath water from running, and takes her own life with some blades that she stole from the pharmacy that her parents work in that morning. She did try to speak to Mr. Porter to explain to him what happened before. She ended up coming to the conclusion that the only thing that she had left to do was to take her own life, because of how her reputation and her soul had ultimately been destroyed by everybody, including Bryce. Clay and Tony are the only ones, from what I can understand, that didn't actually do anything wrong to her. All the people that are talked about on the tapes, Mr. Porter, Jessica, Justin, Bryce, Courtney, the photographer, everybody is increasingly responsible for her taking her life. This is why I'm doing this review. I found it very, very difficult viewing, and I would find the book very, very difficult to read. I'm only doing this review based on the Netflix original series. The way that Hannah takes her life in the book is apparently different to how she takes her life in episode 13 of the show, but it needed to be as graphic as it was to show just how a teenager isn't able to articulate all the feelings that they're feeling, as their reputation and everything is damaged. If you like the reviews that I've been doing, mostly they've been book reviews, please like and subscribe to this channel. Please leave comments in the comment section, and I will try to leave the link from the TV show in the description, and other helpful things in the description, along with the usual links. Please share with a warning to social media about the contents of this video, and I will see you again with a hopefully much more positive review in the future. Goodbye for now.